You can't dismantle a system if you don't understand what it is. Unwritten rules in the workplace can be very toxic, and I wrote a whole book on how they negatively impact people and business. So I'm with you. But if you don't even know what they are, you are going to fall for traps along the way, and you're not even going to know what needs to be dismantled. For example, I have an autistic coaching client who was being heavily bullied by her manager. She took my workplace bullying course in my school, and we have had several sessions together. And the feedback I received from her was, okay, now I have a framework and I understand what to do. She had to understand what was going on to know how to document what was happening to her in a way that was effective. And now HR is on her side. Doesn't make it better overnight, doesn't make what's going on with her okay. But if she didn't understand, she wasn't going to be able to beat it. I have another client who was abused for over a decade at her previous position. She hired me before she started her next job. She took like a month gap in between because she needed to debrief, because she knew going in she was not doing that again. She was not going to be abused like that. Everything seemed well and good. There's a lot of positives in her work culture. And then someone who was actually below her in the hierarchy tried to sabotage her with what seems so nice trap. They feigned concern that something must be going on. She's not doing as much work. She's not working very quickly. This client is also a Black woman. A lot of stereotypes about the work they're supposed to do. The working class response to that, if you don't know the unwritten rules, is to show all of the hard work you have done. But at her level of being pretty senior in the organization, responding to someone below her like that is just showing she is a workhorse, which is another Black woman stereotype, and brings her down to their level. Because at that point she knew enough of the unwritten rules and the power dynamics to not fall for that trap, she was able to assert her competence with her manager without pulling herself down to that person's level. And because I believe in not being a piece of shit and reinforcing new hierarchies, we also worked on how do you extend an olive branch to this person while still setting a boundary. So these things matter. And part of why I have so much free content on YouTube and TikTok is because I want you to know they matter, and I want enough people to know that this is not normal. It is not the only way to be. And these things being unwritten is what gives them power. Because if you think it is just a you problem and nobody else is struggling with it, it maintains power. If you realize what it is, that most people don't like it, most people struggle with it, and you can understand the business impact, so you can convey your ideas in a way that shows, hey, so if we don't have communication errors, things are going to go better. You're going to do more for dismantling systems than just going in somewhere and being like, I don't like this, I don't want to do it. Because that's how they're going to hear it. Even if you're like, hey, so this is really toxic and not helpful, they're not going to listen to you. And if you just go in somewhere and start telling them immediately what's wrong, they're not going to trust you because they know you haven't been there long enough to know what something is. And even if you are correct, they're not going to be willing to hear you because you haven't been there long enough to build the credibility and to show an understanding of how something is negatively impacting people and the company. But my purpose in my business is to get people into positions of power who understand these systems and do dismantle them to make more transparent cultures and healthier workplaces for themselves and their business, because unwritten rules often hurt the business long term. And yeah, I would say immediately check red flags and leave if you can. But this is so ingrained in a lot of corporate America and a lot around the world, to be honest, that inevitably you're going to find at least some of it. Some places are better than others, but if you find a place completely without them, stay forever. And let me know. I would love to hear this case study.